Good afternoon. I just guessed it was afternoon. I don't know if it's actually afternoon where you are. It could be morning. This is another game from Regionals in San Rafael, California. My name is Brian. We're from San Francisco to commentate another game of Netrunner. So this was the fourth game from Regionals. I really have to catch up on these. There's something like 14 more games I need to commentate. So open in hand with a couple fairies. Looks like a data sucker, a shutdown, and another card. I think it might be a Plascrete. And that's a pretty good start. Not a lot of economy, but that's okay because I have the fairies. So I could put a lot of early game pressure. And we have Personal Evolution on the right. This is Jerry playing Personal Evolution. Played the first game where I did win, so I am, I believe, 2 wins on the day out of 3 games, and we'll see if I can pick another win here. And this was 6 rounds of Swiss. So he installs ice over HQ, installs a card, and takes the credit. So I install some cards, the Data Sucker, Fairy, then I run in, third click on HQ. And I would have liked to see the top card of R&D there, but just weren't enough clicks. I didn't want to risk hitting some net damage and not getting at least those 2 cards down. Those 2 cards are pretty important to get down in this matchup. He just scores out Clone Retirement, so he doing a net damage for being Personal Evolution, and he gets a shutdown, which I'm probably not too worried about in this matchup. And having a shutdown in the heap is not so bad because that's why Same Old Thing is in the deck. So I take a card, I run on R&D, and luckily he does not have enough money to trigger the snare. So that is a SanSan. I do not have enough money to trash it. It's a very interesting card. You don't usually see that in Personal Evolution. It makes a lot of sense in some ways. You have a lot of 3 advancement cost agendas, so that SanSan lets you just pop them right out of hand. Do some net damage, score some points, get some benefits like Profiteering or House of Knives. It's all good stuff. So I just finish up by drawing a card, getting a Parasite. So now I can get into HQ. I could kill that Quandary. And that ended up being a Jackson Howard over on the end. It's not running on it, which is risky. They could score a House of Knives like that. Personal Evolution will often try and do that type of thing, so not running on it is risky in that you give them the opportunity to score something as devastating as House of Knives, which I find to be a very scary agenda for Personal Evolution to score. That is the one where they could do net damage when you run. You gotta run. So ooh, he does have a Philotic in hand, so he's does not res the ice on R&D, and that's a Corporate Troubleshooter, which is a. I was a little surprised to see that card. I almost just didn't trash it. So I think that's third. Oh, I guess that was just a second click. I Parasite the Quandary, and I get into HQ, and I steal the Philotic. So that is a great steal. Just taking a Philotic early removes a lot of the stress of the game. So he takes out a Fairy. Not too worried about that. There's not a lot of ice on the table, and I already have a Fairy down, so it's not the worst thing to get net damaged away. So I drew into an Armitage on the final click, which is a great card to have right now. I'm low on money. Unless if he has the Jackson Howard out. It would have been nice if I could have killed that Jackson Howard, because that Jackson Howard would let him draw into an ice to put over HQ, as he just did. So he just takes a credit for his last click, and looks like he has to discard a card. The Jackson Dowd. I wouldn't be surprised if that's an agenda. So I just want to get that Armitage money flowing. Make sure I don't get that card net damaged away. So I take some money off of the Armitage, and I think there's going to be a run here. Just want to make sure, in case if he does res something like an Archer, I have enough money to deal with it. Which I do in this case because of all those early data suckers, but that almost caught me. So I think I'm just considering my options right now. definitely want to. I was just trying to decide how many data suckers to use. So I use a couple data suckers in the ferry and a couple credits, I guess, to get through. And that looked like I think a Sarugi would have been my guess. Just based on the number of subroutines, kind of looked like a Sarugi. And he reses another Quandary, so I would love to shut down that archer. And he used his clone retirement to res that archer. Anytime a faction gets a 2-1 for the first time, you could expect to see archer in there, as I think we're starting to see with domestic sleepers. Archer is now everywhere. So HQ is not totally out of reach here. Although he did ice up Archive, so it would be it'd be nice to get the Yogg out soon. So I've run Jackson, I think on my third click, I guess? It might have been a fourth. And he uses it. Yeah, that was a fourth click. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about my position here. I have that shutdown in Archives, so I have a same old thing in hand. So if I could find the Yogg, I have a special order, so I could special order to go with the Yogg. I don't have enough clicks to do everything I need to do to shut it down, but there's some options here. Okay, Celebrity Gift, and wow, look at that hand. So he has some more money, another archer. He has some snares I need to be watch out for. He might even throw a snare down into a remote just to make me consider running on that veterans program. The veterans program right now, mostly don't want him to score it because I don't want him to be able to res another archer. I'm not too worried about him actually scoring the veterans program right now. Ooh, and I do get a Siphon. So I've seen a little bit of influence. I don't think I've seen enough to rule out Scorched Earth. But I have seen a couple archers, and I've seen a SanSan, which I think he's tossed in the trash, unless I'm mistaken. I don't think there was a SanSan in his HQ. So I go get the Yogg. And I am gonna go into HQ right now, it looks like. I don't know about this plan. Would you like to cut this? Sure. I'm probably gonna siphon him right now and then just hope that, he just showed me his HQ, so there was not a Scorched Earth in there, so this is, or any tag punishment. So yeah, the siphon was pretty profitable right there. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of taking the data suckers, not forgetting that. I try and make sure I do everything at the proper trigger so I never forget. So he still had just enough money to hedge fund. So that siphon wasn't well timed in that regard. But and especially with that. Oh, so he must have had, yeah, he had 6 there. Or maybe he took a credit. So I think what I should do here, and this, yeah, I think that was a misplay. What I should have done, I think this would have been a much stronger play. Oh, I did get the sneak door, that's great. But I should have installed the same old thing. I should have ran HQ, and then I should have shut down the archer. I think that would have been the strongest thing for me to do this turn. Just take care of that archer. That's that's keeping me out of his R&D entirely, and he doesn't have another agenda scored yet. So I put the same old thing down as my last click. That I think was kind of a dumb play. I don't know. He could trash it. Maybe I'm just trying to get him to trash stuff. I think that, considering I have the merchant shutdown in the heap, but I could just siphon him again. So he really needs to kill that same old thing. Okay, so he does something just about as good in killing Quandary, replacing Quandary. And he does kill the same old thing anyway. So yeah, I think that was a big misplay. I think I should have used that to shut down the archer. Because look, I draw into an indexing, so I could have been had an indexing open this turn. Of course, if I shut down that archer, he may very well have put that ice in front of R&D. So building up money, I might be able to finance a fem pretty soon. Building up a ton of money here. And I can't really run safely here until I get another ferry out or until I get a fem out. And that is, I'd say, very likely one of the snares, or that veterans program, or another agenda. Like a house of knives. I hope there's not too much foreshadowing here. Although just saying that probably is foreshadowing.
Second click, I'll put down same old thing. Great. I'll use same old thing 2 times to play a special order.
Okay, so I guess I really needed a sentry breaker right now. And I go and get a fem. That was basically the whole turn. So that was not super efficient, but I really needed the fem. I can't get my Yogg trashed because it is the only code gate breaker in the deck, and there's no way to get cards back. Alright, so he scores another clone retirement, thereby potentially opening up what might be an archer over HQ. And that damage, and he gets a sneak door, which is, I don't know, pretty devastating. I think that I wouldn't, even if he took the indexing, I think I'd rather him have than... I'm glad he didn't get the fem, though. Getting the fem would have probably been the worst.
Okay, first click, I will install the fem. Alright.
So I install the fem,
I'll target that HQ.
and I put it over HQ. He thought it was maybe going to go over the archer, but I just need to shut that archer down. I'm not going to pay 4 credits to get through an archer. So I am siphoning. He's probably not going to res, looks like. Well. Oh yeah, so he does res the second archer. I think that's, I don't know, that was probably a fine play. Like, that still makes HQ super taxing. Well, that effectively cost me 2 to get into HQ now. But this deck is based around making a profit on runs. Like, you want to make a profit, ideally in credits, at least with data suckers, like neutralize and get data suckers. That's how this deck wins. So having a lot of ice resed and a lot of expensive ice to get through, like archers, even a femmed archer, is not good. So I'm fairly confident he doesn't have 2 Scorched Earth in his deck, so I'm pretty happy taking these tags. Well, it looks like I forgot to take 2 tags for that, which is unfortunate, but I honestly don't think it's going to matter in this game. I don't think I'm going to clear those tags. And if it does matter, then I apologize to Jerry. So he installs an upgrade on that server. Not sure if that was an agenda. I'm not sure why he didn't just score it out.
Okay. First click, I will dirty laundry HQ. Okay.
Alright, so I just dirty laundried HQ, and he had the Himitsu Baku in front, so that kind of backfired. But sometimes you'll take a risk like that with dirty laundry. And this is so I was just going to say, I really love a Sneak Door beta right now. So I play the Forge first just to clear it out, because if that is something like I guess a Baku, he'd probably res, but if that was like a wall of static, I just want to get rid of it now, because I'm going to start Sneak Dooring pretty soon. When he's low on money. Next turn he could go up on money a little bit and then have enough to res that, so just Forge it now. Force him to at least waste another ice over there on archives. So he just takes 3 credits as his turn, building up econ again. So I think it's time to start Sneak Dooring. Not sure what I'm worried about. I'm drawing cards. I think it's time to Sneak Door. Why am I not Sneak Dooring? I think he just drew 3 cards. Alright, built up a little more money. It's fair enough. I think that was to turn the sneak door. Not sure why I didn't. I guess I do know that he has, probably still has those 2 snares in HQ, so... It's not too attractive sneak door right now, actually. I'm very tempted to... I think what that remote is probably a SanSan. He did use a Jackson Howard previously, so if he trashed a SanSan, then he could have drawn it. Oh, so I draw another shutdown. That would be excellent right now. I think he just shut down the probably R&D. I think I still have that index in hand. Shut down R&D, and then you can index or index on the following turn. Yeah, these are the types of thoughts going through my head right now, I guarantee it.
Yeah. Second and third, I'll plan the sauce. Okay.
I'm actually not... Oh, I guess I'm going to inside job over the Baku? I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. What else am I doing? Yeah. Okay, because I'm sure. So I have a click left, and I'm just gonna yeah, this makes sense, I guess. I'm gonna shut down probably the R&D ice.
I'll pay 2 on Archer. No, wait, I just want to bypass. Yeah, I'll pay 4 on Archer. Okay, so bypass. Yep. And then I'll get 2 money for...
So I was just gonna spend a bunch of data suckers to break Archer, but it definitely makes more sense just for me to spend the money to bypass. Alright, so I get the Veterans Program, and I just hope he doesn't ping the emergency shutdown right now. He doesn't. He just gets a dirty laundry, which I'm fine with.
Last click, I'll shut that down.
So the shutdown finally, that play finally came together. And I got a Veterans Program, so that's one less agenda that he could score out to res it again. This seems like it's probably a somewhat low ice Personal Evolution deck. Which makes sense with these many this many agendas. You kind of something has to give, and he has a good amount of economy, and even a lot of like trick cards like upgrades and SanSans and things like this. So he's probably just doesn't have as much ice, would be my guess. Which, as long as I keep shutting it down, it's working out in my favor. So now I need to go kill the Jackson Howard, but then I could index. I think that'll probably be my turn. Yep, so he uses the Jackson Howard. There very well could be another Jackson Howard in that remote, but I think I'm just going to play the odds that that's not the case. Because I don't want to get snared right now and lose my indexing. I'd rather him just square out an agenda that he has been ignoring this whole time. So I index right now, and I know he can't res that Archer because he doesn't have an agenda to throw at it. So I will see 5 cards, and hopefully I'll see a couple of agendas. Hopefully a couple 2-pointers that aren't fetal AIs. And I see a Brain Trust, so that's pretty good. Brain Trust and SanSan, the other Jackson Howard, the Corporate Troubleshooter. And so I didn't quite see the order of all that. But I think I put the Jackson Howard on the very bottom. I would love to be able to get into HQ right now too, and that scene as, I didn't really see any other agendas. He gets the second sneak door, that's also unfortunate. So there are 3 sneak doors in there. But I'm off to a good start here. I have the Philotic, Brain Trust, and Veterans, so I just need 2 more points to win this game. And Gary, has scored 2 agendas, but they are gone from the Archer resin. So I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. Ooh. So this, yeah, that probably was the snare on there. So he scores out a Brain Trust, killing a special order. That would have been nice to have the special order, because that would allow me to get into HQ if I go get the Corroder. So I draw up a couple cards. I get a Fairy and another Data Sucker.
Fourth click, I'll run on the same
So I just final click run on the SanSan, just kill it. I don't. There's a good chance he has another agenda in hand. I guess he couldn't have scored it out that turn though. He only has, I think, 1 credit. Oh no, he did have 2 credits. So yeah, that was. Oh, and he had the House of Knives too. So that was a really good play. Wow. So he still has 2 snares in hand. It makes me curious. I guess that was just another snare in that server with the SanSan. So there's no real good option now to get into HQ, and that is the part. Even though he has those snares, I just need to get in there and get that House of Knives. And, you know, because if he puts a remote down, it's less good for me to run on the remote. Because at least if I get an HQ, I get 2 credits. Be best on like a sneak door. Oh, look at that! I finally remembered the siphon tags from like 4 turns ago.
I'm certain that you've done 2. Yeah. Okay. I'm only not certain that you haven't done 3, but I'm pretty sure it's only 2. Okay. So I first click Drew. Yep.
So at this point, I know there's still nothing on R&D, which is why I'm not running R&D yet. It just it gets me a data sucker token, but not much else. If I had Desperado down, maybe run on there to go trash that stuff I saw. Getting those sneak doors trashed, which was unfortunate. I still have a couple credits there on Armitage. Probably worth taking that at some point.
I will try for run on Archives. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just running Archives last click. I have plenty of data sucker tokens, so I'm not too worried about any ice really. Worst case, he reses a barrier and keeps me out, or there's a Shikyu in Archives. There's not. So that gives me a data sucker, and I could have potentially got him to res something, draining his econ a bit. So that wasn't a super strong play, but I don't think it was a horrible play either. And I'm really bad at remembering how many turns have passed since that indexing, how many cards have been drawn. But I think we're getting towards the end of the indexing. And I just realized now that I had 6 cards in hand, so I'm gonna go ahead and discard a card and let him, you know, undo any moves he plays he had that he maybe would have wanted to do different. So just get rid of a data sucker. I already have plenty of data sucker tokens. That was like the quick plays there. Install hedge fund. And this is very likely the SanSan and the snare would be my guess. I think what he's doing here, and this is a pretty good play. Like he just puts a snare down with the SanSan, so he knows that you're really demotivated to go run on that. He doesn't really have any motivation to put the agenda down with the SanSan, so you run on the SanSan. Not only do you have to have 5 credits to trash it, but you're going to eat a snare too. And he has plenty of credits to trigger the snare. So he's going to be able to score the House of Knives out on the next turn. Getting into HQ right now would be the best play, I think. If I could get an HQ like a couple times. If I had a sneak door in hand, it would be install sneak door, and then I would need to take the money on Armitage and run. So I think that was the bottom card of the indexing, the Jackson Howard. So I do trash it. Man, I wish I had a Desperado. I think 3rd click I should run on R&D. Yes, and I do. So he cannot res to Archer. Ooh, I see a clone retirement. So putting me up to 6 points, I do take a net damage, and I get a bad pub for stealing the clone retirement. So that was a great pull, because he would have almost certainly just scored that out of hand next turn, and then he'd be able to res the Archer to keep me out. Now it's going to cost him a lot more money to do that. And I put down the same old thing, so I'm threatening a Siphon here. He could easily trash the same old thing, but then he would not be able to score out the House of Knives. So he clears viruses that turn. I don't think that was a strong play, because I could just run an R&D.
3rd click, I'll go R&D.
Yeah, which I do. 3rd click R&D, and I don't... Oh, okay. I guess I missed a... I guess I missed an agenda score there. I can't remember what he scored. Sorry, it's a little bit late at night as as I'm doing this. Oh yeah, the brain trust, that's right. So I have just enough money to get through there with that fairy, thanks to the bad publicity. And I get a data sucker. So he's sacrificed 4 agenda points to archers at this point.
3 and 4 will be credits, all done. Alright, I'm going to trade draw.
So that Baku is really doing a lot of work. I haven't been able to get my Corroder. Got a Desperado, but at this point in the game, I don't usually install Desperado, especially when I don't have easy access to servers.
Yeah, that's 2 and 3 on Celebrity Gift. Okay. And net 7.
Okay, so yeah, the SanSan and Snare are definitely down in that remote. He has a couple Komainu in hand, which, considering he has so much money, would probably be a decent thing to put over something. He's liking those archers, though. Those archers in that Baku are doing a good job to protect the centrals now. And I have that same old thing down, so I think I'm thinking about Shutdown again. Man, Shutdown's the type of card that a lot of times it just sits there doing nothing, but when it comes into play, it's major. Like, I don't know, I've caused him to spend a lot of agenda points resin those archers. At this point, I think I just need to get the Corroder and just start hitting HQ. Okay, so he takes some money, installs some cards, and that is almost certainly the Komainu over R&D. So I think that was the only ice in his hand when he used Celebrity Gifts. So things are not looking super great for me at this point. I'd be feeling a lot better if I could get that Corroder. I think going in HQ at this point is the biggest priority. I just can't get into R&D anymore. To get into R&D, I really need to shut down that archer. So I take some money. I think I'm building up for a play. If I could shut down that archer, I could also potentially just index and then break the Komainu the first run and just take the net damage the second run and steal an agenda for the win. So he scores out. I'm almost certain that's a House of Knives. Yeah, but that play I just said is not going to happen because I think that's probably the last same old thing, and I only have 1 indexing, and I think both shutdowns are in the heap. So yeah, that's just not going to happen realistically. I would need a ton of money to buy my way through the archer, and I don't think that's going to happen with an indexing. So he has the SanSan now rezzed, with probably a Komainu defending it. So I could get in there and probably trash it, probably take a little bit of net damage. It would blow all my economy though. I think that would still be a decent play. It looks like he has, it's hard to tell. I'd say 9 credits it looks like, something like that, 8 or 9. So getting him to res that Komainu would probably not be horrible. Oh, I draw there's the Corroder finally, draw into it. Oh, thank you for not being the bottommost card. I could have used the same old thing to special order it by now. I guess would have been an option. I might not have been thinking about that. I think I'm more focused on shutting down that R&D archer, as I think that's where I see my win coming from.
Third click.
I'm being really careful here that I have enough money to do everything I need to do. And this is my 3rd click, so I can't shut down that archer just yet.
Leg work. So I'll pay 2 for leg work.
Yeah, so I do a leg work. Okay, so this and I have just enough. I pay through the archer with the 4. I pay the bad pub on the Baku. I get 2 credits. And he spends a credit to put the Baku back in hand. So he almost certainly has an agenda in hand. And he just wants me to steal that Baku, or access that Baku. Komainu, the Baku. So I get to see the corporate troubleshooter, but... And I think he was considering using the House of Knives. So I decided not to trash that corporate trouble. Well, I think corporate troubleshooter might be 3 to trash. I probably couldn't trash it. Can't remember if it's 2 or 3. So he scores another House of Knives out of hand. Now the game is turning against me. And he had that House of Knives in hand. Well, he might have top decked it. I'm not sure. Based on him taking the Baku back in hand, I'm guessing he had it in hand or another agenda. So he has 2 House of Knives scored. And I don't know if you're looking at my stack of cards there, but it's getting pretty low. So I'm very low on credits. I don't have enough to get into HQ right now. But I have my Breaker Suite out. I'm in a bad position because he can just score out any agenda out of hand, basically, on that SanSan. And whenever I run, I'm going to start taking a ton of net damage. Any run now could just flatline me if I get unlucky. If I access a snare when he has enough money to trigger it. Okay, so he puts I'm pretty sure that's the corporate troubleshooter over R&D. But now I could shut down that archer at least. That's not going to do me a ton of good though, because he has agendas now. He has House of Knives he could forfeit. So I just take 3 credits and I run the SanSan. I know I can't let him keep scoring out agendas. So he does not res what I suspect is a Komainu. So I trash the SanSan. I always wonder, I think as PE it makes sense to spend some House of Knives tokens, even if you're not going to get a kill, because really, with 2 of them scored, you can only use them once a run, so just save 1 on each card. You know, do random net damage here and there. With my Breaker Suite out, I think if I get a little more money and I could draw the 3rd Sneak Door, which I think I have still, this game could be over. So that is something behind a Komainu. Oh, I keep saying it's a Komainu. It might not be a Komainu. But that could be the other snare. He has plenty of money now to trigger it. I could get an HQ now for the overall cost of 2 credits and gaining the Data Sucker. Oh no, I guess it only really costs 1 credit to get in there because of the bad pub. So it's not horrible. Paying essentially 1 credit to get into HQ. So he does ping me a couple times with the House of Knives.
I'll access a card. Man, no Desperado all game. That's been rough.
See the Komainu. Oh, I want to see that last agenda so bad. So I am running low on cards. I think I don't know, just it's hard to see here in this 2D image, but I'd guess I have like 8 cards left.
Ooh, all right. Well,
How much left?
6-minute warning.
6-minute warning.
I would much rather have scored, I think, House of Knives over any of the 1-pointer agendas every now. The clone retirement is nice to have, but 2 House of Knives out just mean that every decision you make as a runner is excruciating. This is why the game's slowing down a little bit at this point. So I'm just trying to play fast, but at the same time it's just hard with House of Knives. So I think 4th click I run. They tell you not to do that. So I kept saying Komainu. That has just been a paper all this whole time. So the bad pub trashes it. So he hits me with some more House of Knives. He then triggers a snare that was there. Oh wow, look at that card. So my last card is a Sneak Door Beta. That is really funny. I would hate if that was a 3rd Archer over there on R&D though. Although with enough Data Suckers, I could just pay my way through it. So I just need, if I had 4 more credits right now. Oh, I need more cards. Like I need 4 more credits. I need like, I don't know, 3 more cards in hand, 4 or 5 to be safe. Well, 5 to be safe, I guess. Well, I think all the snares are in his trash at this point.
First and second click is the same old thing, siphon. Okay.
So I siphon for the first click. First and second with the same old thing. That same old thing was just there for a long time.
To get through the archer. Yes. And it gives me back 2.
So I steal 5 of his credits. I get 12 because of Gabe.
2 clicks.
I think he's left with 2.
Click 3, I'll draw. Okay.
Oh, so the click 3 I draw and click 4 I'm gonna run. So he's gonna house knives me, and then I have to hope that it's not a fetal AI. It's not a Kamino wouldn't kill me. It's not a shock. These are the types of things that I'm worried about because I really do want to run it. You know, he only has 2 credits though. Okay. So he made a mistake right there because he should have house and knives first, and he could have killed me if he did that. But I think there's nothing in the timing window that allows for it after.
Unless I trash, I want to trash it. Yeah. Good point. No, it's fine there.
And I don't know. I could have just.
This.
I don't know. I probably should have just let him kill me because he had the win there, and he didn't do the timing window right. But I don't know. At this tournament, at the regionals, I decided to be really strict about that kind of stuff. So he, I have 2 cards left, I think. This is not good. So it's draw, or run. And he has 4, so but I don't think there's another snare. I think I'm certain there's not another snare. I should look through his archives to check. But yeah, if that, I think the best option here would be to draw a couple cards, put down the sneak door, and run. And I do have a siphon there too, so that's really tempting. Because I could siphon and then I can run on the remote, but yeah, I think that's a bad play because I'm not really worried about, I don't think he has another snare. What am I worried about him spending money on that remote? Not Resi Ice. There's no ice that I'm worried about right now, really.
There's 2 ways I could do this. I will.
And yeah, I'm deciding if I want a sneak door or if I want a siphon. Sneak door, run HQ.
Okay, so third click, I'll siphon.
And I decide to do the siphon route and then go into the remote. I think this is not a strong play because he has demonstrated that he has shocks in his deck. So if I run on that remote, I go in there and I say I'm going to access, and he uses House of Knives, and then the shock kills me.
Okay, access, yeah. Okay.
And that is indeed, so he
Hold on. Did you already res it?
he did indeed get me that way this time. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out if there's some way, but no, with the timing window, there's not. So yeah, he messed up that on the previous turn, and I was foolish enough to repeat the same thing. And I think I should have played that sneak door instead. That was, I think that was just a better shot of winning there. I was completely out of cards, nothing like Levy. So I think I just needed to sneak door. If he did use the House of Knives tokens, and that would have at least got rid of his tokens. And then I could have, maybe gotten there the next turn too, without any cards, and just got lucky and taken an agenda. But so that was a little bit of a long game, but definitely an interesting one. I got up to 6 points, and he used all those archers, and I just couldn't get that last point, and he was able to win like that. So thanks for watching.